Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. Mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. All right, it's Friday, so it's PowerPoint Day. This is what I used to do from 1985 to 2019 back at the Yoga Circle. The visual images sometimes help. This one is called Spiritual Coma. Our whole country is in a moral coma. And how do we awaken from this? Well, yoga has its own version. May not be politically correct, but it's timeless. We start off with Om. This is the symbol, the invocation, the motor of creation. They say that's the sound of all the sounds together. It's your connection to your lineage as well. That's why we call it parampara, the passing of the torch from one generation to the next. Like an unlit candle gets lit by a lit candle, and then you go do thou likewise. So that's the first thing. Then we move on. We're pursuing the myth of enlightenment, trying to climb up to the heaven world, whatever that is. And I always like to say the myth of enlightenment to me is like the North Star. Above the equator, can't see it below, south of the equator, but above the equator, it's a fixed position which millions of navigators through history will attest to its functional and practical effectiveness, is using it as a place to triangulate. I'm here, you're there, that's where I want to go. But you have to watch out for the guru shadow, people trying to sell you a bit of goods, when the real truth is we don't have insight into our own true nature, and that's called avidya, actively not knowing the nature of reality. So what can we do about it? Well, according to Plato, we can reintroduce those constant forms which through distraction of the senses at birth we lose touch with. So basically this is memory. Remember who we really are as we seek this supposed enlightened state. Now, you got to focus on it. Short attention span, short horizon. Ekagrata, one-pointedness. Sink your teeth into something, right? Don't take one well down 30 feet, then not get any water. Start another well. Take one down 300 feet, and you're going to strike gold down there. But you got to focus. Now, I love this idea by Vivekananda. Take one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, the muscles, the nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Well, even though the path that I've chosen is one that's active in terms of asana, my teacher always says you have to be a yanadatta as well as a karmadatta, which is a giver of knowledge. And of course, your action is always propelled by bhakti, which is the love of what it is that you're pursuing. Now, we say the therapy is high as the therapist. That's Jnana Yoga. Whether you're a Freudian therapist and you're looking at the early years and the return of the repressed once they start bringing these memories back, or whether you're Jungian and you're thinking about the second half of life, which is not an appendage, for you to continue the process of individuation, which never stops, goes all the way until the moment that you're no longer incarnating. So your therapy is as high as therapist. You have Buddha as your therapist, pretty good. Got Joe Schmo as your therapist, not so much. Now, I love this strength. Death comes from ego strength, not from ego weakness. The ability to accept rejection, not as a personal affront, but as a part of life. That's ego strength. Ability to bounce back from rejection, or in other words, to be resilient. That's ego strength. The positive attitude, where there's a will, there's a way. Don't give up. That's ego strength. The tendency to see problems as opportunities. That's ego strength. The capacity for seeing small windows of opportunity and making the most of them. Wherever I am, I make the best of whatever is going on. And that's the way you deal with ego strength. Now, I love this quote as well. Love yourself enough to honor your pain and know that no one is going to think any less of you because you acknowledge that there is a wounding there. And in that wound, I promise you, buried beneath the pain, the shame, the guilt, the fear of that wound is your power. So honor your wound, otherwise you leave a provisional life just trying to get by. But the wound takes you, because where you stumble, that's where your treasure is. Now I love this little conflict is the beginning of consciousness. As we say, pulling in different directions. Each one of you wants to have your own thing. No matter how hard you pull, you're connected to the other person, you don't do it. You come to an impasse. What do? Don't pull against each other. Work together, and therefore we can eat both of the nourishing stuff. Ernest Hemingway, the best people possess a feeling for beauty, the courage to take risks, the discipline to tell the truth, the capacity for sacrifice. Ironically, their virtues make them vulnerable. They're often wounded, sometimes destroyed. So this is the whole thing. Vulnerability is no cause for shame. We all are human, we all are fragile, and by leading with our vulnerability, we invite other people to open up as well. Now, if you're less than a B plug, ask for a hug. I always say, when people used to come to my class, I always tell by their face, it's a rule, don't come in here. If you're a court low, come on. Maybe some oxytocin through a loving, non-sensual hug. Did you know that a 20-second hug can release the bonding hormone called a neurotransmitter called oxytocin, which is nature's antidepressant and anti-anxiety? Yeah, do it. And then remember, you have to forge your own path. Like it says, the Grail Knights went into the forest where it was darkest and there was no way or path because they thought it'd be a disgrace to go in as a group. So you have to find your own way, often in the dark, as you go on your quest, whether it's the quest for the Grail, the quest for enlightenment. It's the same idea, isn't it? So I hope you find a mentor as a blessing to yourself and distinguish the yogic path from your own path. And then you learn how to improve. You learn how to be a success. You learn how to train yourself. You learn how to motivate yourself. You learn how to work for your goal. You learn how to stay inspired. As I often say, I don't care if I inspire other people. I just want to be an inspired person myself. And then that always means looking into the back, looking into the unknown, looking into what you don't see so easily. So the shadow in Hatha Yoga is the back body or the inner body. And that's where you get the treasure of the body, which is called Kaya Sadhana. So probe into that which you can't see and open up vistas of new insight and revelation. And then ultimately it leads you to what I call the cycles of competence. Briefly stated, it's unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. This is the skill and action you learn in yoga. When you first begin, you don't realize that you don't know and that you can't do. You're unconscious and you're incompetent, but you don't know that yet. Then you take your first class and you realize, oh my God, I don't have this together. I can't do that. Now I'm conscious of my incompetence. But if you keep on practicing, all of a sudden certain things line up and you can say more or less, I got it together. I'm conscious of my competence. And if you keep on going, you become like a past master where it's working automatically on base brain for you. And then you're no longer in the thinking mind, you're in the intuitive mind. And then you have what we call unconscious competence. So keep on going and awaken from your own spiritual coma, friends. And we'll see you sometimes, we hope, soon.